Right, let's do this.
Hi, welcome to the Conservative Echo Chamber. My name's Jonathan, and I'm not intentionally being a douchebag and wearing sunglasses indoors. I'm just being very location sensitive about the way that I show solidarity with the blind and muscle overabundant. On to you, Josh. How are you today?
I don't always make insensitive jokes about blind people and indoor douchiness, but when I do
I
so
have.
only to accentuate my awesome muscles.
That's right. I actually have permission from a friend who's had cancer to make cancer-based jokes. So buckle in your seatbelt, kid. This is gonna be
Uh,
a long ride, like someone suffering from leukemia.
I could have used that voucher earlier.
That
Get
was a
yourself in a
terrible
world.
joke. I should feel bad, but it was just so bad that there's no way. Okay, so we're here talking about the Pope because the Pope,
Cancer bad, so bad you'll pull all your hair out.
it turns out, and I don't know how no one else has figured this out yet. It turns out that the Pope is really, really bad at economics, which color me shocked. A guy whose entire life is revolving around theology might be a little ignorant in other subjects. And I want to
I'm not even good at theology. I mean, have you listened to him talk?
No, he's also not good at theology, but this is just atrocious. And the thing that always pisses me off when people start talking about like just start spouting socialist bullcrap on the public forum is they never say anything that actually makes sense. It's never like this is a theory by which people can operate and interact. It's just like these vague generalizations. Let me give you an example here, right? I'm going to read to you a quote from the Pope.
Oh,
and you tell me how much sense it makes, okay?
Proceed.
Quote, to claim economic freedom while real conditions bar many people from real access to it, while possibilities for unemployment continue to shrink, is to practice a doublespeak which brings politics into disrepute. End quote.
Sorry, don't mind me. I'm just trying to find the best spot to get it in.
No, it's right in here. Like if you just the side, that's where your carotid is, in between your neck muscle and your trachea.
Would it shock you that I don't want to pantomime putting sharp metal objects by them?
This is what's weird to me. It's like, okay, quote, to claim economic freedom while real conditions bar people from real access to it. And like that first section. Well, one, I assume he's talking about what is commonly known as the free market or laissez-faire economics, not necessarily any specific system, but merely that idea of a market unfettered. So let's talk about a free market. Josh, if there's a free market, what would possibly bar a person from joining that free market?
Well,
this is a trick question.
Personal desires, perhaps.
The answer. Do you want the answer?
Well, the answer is there is no capitalism. There is no market. The market is us, and so you're already in it. Just because that's a word we use to describe.
Josh, this is not the Matrix.
Of course, it's not the Matrix.
Don't have
Matrix was actually not a very
There is no market. We are the market. Don't you understand, you fool?
No, think about one of the problems that people who follow Hayek style economics, Austrian school, one of the points they make is it's not a car. The economy is not just this other thing out there that controls our actions or manipulates our lives. No, the market is just you are guy, talk to other guy, talk about stuff and how to move stuff. You have a market by definition. So what prevents you from participating in the market? I suppose if you never talk to people, that might contribute.
Literally, the laissez-faire economy is only blocked off to total hermits or people, or for example, Helen Keller before she learned sign language. That would be an example of a person for whom from which certain conditions bar her from real access to it. But what's kind of funny is the word real, because he's not saying real. We all know he's not saying real. Well, real conditions bar people from real access to it. What the hell is real access to it? Because you are correct. The answer is in a laissez-faire economy, there are no conditions which bar a person from at least some level of access to the economy. What he's really saying is, man, there are some people who can't fly first class like I can, and that's just totally unfair. It's so unfair that there are some guys who can't afford a Mercedes like I can. There are some people who can't afford to dress all in white or red on a year-round basis and not be accused of being a Santa Claus wannabe like I can. And it's not the word real is not what it means. What he means is fair according to my standard, which he is not described, he is not illustrated. It's just this bullshit vague moralism which has no basis in reality.
You never thought that you'd find something more disgusting than the "let them eat cake" comments. But now it's, well, why can't they all just have everything? Spread it all over.
To be fair, he has not yet advocated for the eating of rich babies to give poor babies a chance. So he hasn't said the most disgusting thing possible yet. But when it comes to economic freedom, it's kind of funny because what he's saying is it's not fair that in an economically free society, some people will not be successful as other people, and therefore we need a less free society. That is in essence what he is saying. And nowhere, I mean, this guy, is a fan of the Bible, so I've heard. Nowhere do I read in the Bible a part where it says, "Thou shalt be a fascist dickhead." I looked, I double checked. Those 3 words, fascist dickhead, those 2 words do not appear in the Bible. I swear, I checked twice already. But
Didn't Samuel specifically warn the people against having a king? Like, hey, if you have a king, he's going to tax you, he's going to take your daughters and marry them and do all sorts of unpleasant things and send you off to war. Are you?
I do not recall, but to be fair, I do not recall Samuel saying, "Be warned, if you have a religious leader, that's not me. You're gonna have a whole series of scams about pedophilia and then an economic illiterate at the head of your establishment." No one ever warned the Hebrews about that. No one warned the Christians about that. Although, given the current trend in society right now, it's kind of like a foregone conclusion at this point. Like at some point, I mean, this is going to be real dark, but I mean, at some point, like 50 years down the road, I'm half expecting, and I hope to God I'm wrong, but I'm half expecting there to be like a gay porn sex tape of like the Pope online. And I'm
waiter.
So good right now. I'm not going.
Please.
I'm trying so hard not to elaborate on like what verses he would shout while he thrusts back and forth like the mighty sword of God. I'm sorry. This is bad.
Waiter, make that 2 orders of mind soap. Thank you.
Mind bleach.
And a bottle of sake.
Look, just tilt your head sideways. Tilt your head sideways. Take a funnel, put it right in there, and just hand him the gallon jug of bleach, and just let him do all the work. Okay.
This is why sometimes I wish I was a progressive. Then I could just tip it in, and then it would just ooze out. Then I wouldn't have this problem.
But you need what little gray matter you have left.
I don't know. Plenty of people seem to do an awful lot of talking without brains in the first place. Their careers don't seem to be any worse for it.
Now, what's interesting to me is that this guy says, let's see, because I do want to focus on what he's saying because it's so ridiculously meaningless. It is so meaningless because when he says real, what he means is fair according to me, which is no one knows what that means except for him, and clearly he has no grasp of what he's actually saying because he can't say anything clearly and concisely. But let's see. So claim economic freedom while real conditions bar many people from real access to it. Factually, everyone has access to the market. I mean, in the most broad sense, Josh, if I do something like say I had an old pair of headphones and I gave them, and I was like, hey, look, I don't need these. Here are these for $5, whatever. That is us participating in a free market. In fact, that is a freest form of market because there is no government interference whatsoever. Arguably, within a family, you have siblings that trade clothing from time to time, usually female. You have like brothers who rip I'm trying to think of something with which guys switch. They help each other with chores, maybe.
Ties.
Ties.
Yeah, ties, cups. That's a
Okay.
common one.
But interestingly enough, when siblings share clothing, that is in fact economic trade. Of course, that's economic trade within an essentially socialist mini system, if you will. But when best friends do it,
Only if mom and dad are involved.
or when you go to the bar, right, and you go and you order a drink, you are partaking in the economic system. What he's saying is the only way that you cannot engage in an economic system is to not trade anything with anybody ever in any fashion. Like, you know, that whole
This
saying,
is a
like, a
great
man
idea.
is an island to himself. Like, you would have to take that so literally that you just don't interact with anyone. Like, what Josh said is completely correct. And the thing is most people prefer not to do stuff without the dictate of the government. Like Josh, I don't know how many times have you ever worked under the table for anyone?
Actually, a few times. Private tutor was my personal favorite.
Is that not like when someone says like I'd like to hire you under the table? People go on and on about this BS about like, oh, we need benefits. Oh, we need. Is it not like for you? I know it is for me. When someone says like I want to hire you under the table to do something, isn't that like music to your ears? It's like, oh my god, I don't have to pay taxes on this.
It's
great.
not just music to my ears; it's music theirs. You'd think that they would like to claim it, and so that way they could somehow work it into getting a tax break or something. Because basically, when they pay you under the table, they get nothing for that money. But
it's less hassle.
Service is better, less to report to the IRS.
Mm-hmm.
You are more motivated to work because you're actually getting the money. You know, when they say $10 an hour, you get $10 in an hour.
Yeah, and the thing is they know if they start screwing you, you're just gonna walk. I mean, you know, when they do, and it tends to be a much more informal, despite the fact that it's informal and technically either side could screw each other out of it. Because it is so informal, it tends to be very personal, and because it's personal, it's not like, oh, it's just business. No, it's never just business. It's always personal, and so people are much less likely to screw one over. Interestingly enough, I don't know anyone. Maybe there's a couple people, but I don't know very many people who would get the offer of, you know, hey, I'll pay you $10 an hour under the table to do this thing for me. And they'll say, you know what? I would much rather go through the complicated process of being interviewed and showing up for the job and maybe getting the hiring spot, maybe not. And then even if I do get at the hiring spot, then I have to go through an extensive set of training. And after which you will then start paying me at a lesser rate because it costs money to hire and train me. And then even after I get paid, I still lose a cut of money to the government. And then finally, after 3 months, finally I get my benefits.
Will I be able to join a union?
Oh, Josh, you can join all
too much
unions you want.
I'm making too much money at this job. I need something to take it away.
That's right. No, you know what? In fact, we decided to add unions and minimum wage jobs because that just so makes sense. It so makes sense to have someone, a union, to negotiate you to make zero money over the minimum wage. It's a brilliant idea. We should do it immediately.
My sister, when she started at her job, she was complaining about that, saying that when you join the union 2 months in, you get a 25-cent pay raise, but because of union dues,
it's essentially meaningless.
Pretty much. And in some cases, some people will actually end up paying more to the union than the increase they got, and so they might technically get less than minimum wage as a result, depending on the union policy. And
you know what the extreme irony is you have people, and this quote, by the way, is on a meme that's getting passed around Facebook right now. It was spoken months ago, and it's still getting passed around on Facebook by people going, yeah, that makes so much sense, even though it doesn't mean anything. The meme is essentially meaningless. The extreme irony is that, one, this has nothing to do with politics. This is all economics. But he is bringing politics and political discussion and economics discussion into disrepute because he's a religious leader trying to comment on something that he is completely ignorant about. It's like when a comedian tries to talk about politics or philosophy. You never take them seriously. You go, ha, that was a cool joke. Now go back to your script, funny boy. Okay, it's the same thing like
20-some writers.
Right, and it's the same thing with that. Like, there's a couple times that Albert Einstein made quotes about religion. Every time someone tries to pull, like, you know, an Albert Einstein quote, I mean, I'm like, dude, the guy is a physicist. He's really good. I don't take his
advice on fashion.
Right, I wouldn't. I know. Like just because someone is smart in one field does not qualify them to speak about anything else. It's like a a scientist trying to talk about theology or philosophy. No, don't. Unless you have like maybe you can take it as a side thing, but don't ever say I'm a PhD in this field, therefore I'm an authority in this other field. In fact, Bill Nye is a big hypocrite in this. He's a big sinner in this. He's a what would you call him? Anyways, he's been going on and on about anthropogenic global warming. And someone asked him, like, hey, what are your qualifications? All you have is this is all Bill Nye has. He's a famous scientist. All he freaking has is a single degree, a bachelor's of engineering. I think it was from MIT, which is fairly prestigious, but all he has is a bachelor's of engineering. And someone asked him, like, hey, like, how are you qualified to talk about weather? That's all you have. And he says, well, you see, a bachelor's of engineering includes study in thermodynamics and heat transfer, and that happens in weather. Yeah, okay. You know what? I have a car, and I know how to drive it. Therefore, that totally qualifies me. And I even change the oil sometimes. Therefore, that totally qualifies me to talk about the inner workings of a Lamborghini V12. Totally qualified, guys. Just give me a wrench. Give me two. I need at least two, maybe a socket wrench, monkey. One of the wrenches with an auxiliary term on it, preferably, just because they sound so efficient and good for the job. And give me one of those, roller scooter thingies that you can slide back and forth on, because those are always cool. And, I need one of those. And I will totally get your Lamborghini up and running in the next couple hours, because you can trust me. I'm Bill Nye, the non-science guy. That wasn't even a joke.
Hey, I have a bachelor's in music. All we do all day, every day, is learn about the movement of air. Hot air.
You're about as qualified as Bill Nye then.
Oh boy. And let me tell you, in the music program, there's a lot of hot air.
I was gonna say, like, you're about as qualified as a politician when it comes to moving hot air.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Put me on the papal council, coach. I'm ready.
I was also, interestingly enough, the guy who, the last person I've seen who posted this Pope meme also posted, is a huge Bernie Sanders fan. And I don't understand this, because Bernie Sanders is a know-nothing moron. I hate to say it. He seems honest enough for a moron, but that's the only thing he has to his name. Yes, I would consistently did this. That's it. That's all he's got. He has a single degree in political science from a lesser, not a high-end university, if I recall. He didn't graduate cum laude or magna cum laude. He wasn't valedictorian. He wasn't salutatorian.
Which isn't so bad, considering. I mean, where did Reagan go? Eureka College, I think it was. So.
But what I'm saying is yeah. But Reagan also knew how to talk and was not ugly. That was so funny. That was so funny, Jello.
And Reagan actually read up on this stuff before going on the road. So.
But here's the worst part. Like, I was looking over the accomplishments of Ted Cruz, and it's astounding. He graduated valedictorian of his high school. He graduated. Let me see if I can pull this from the top of my head. Cum laude from one school, and then magna cum laude from another college, and one of them was Harvard. I think the other one might have been Yale. He went to worldwide championships for debating and made it into the semifinals. And then in America, I believe he was the champion debater for the country at one point. Like, this guy knows his stuff. And to be clear, debating is not just being able to argue and sound intelligent. It's the ability to research information, come up with a logical argument, a logical, factual argument that makes coherent sense, and the ability to present it. I mean, most politicians couldn't do that worth their life. Okay, and then he has a whole bunch of stuff where he worked for the Attorney General. He was had a whole bunch of statistical firsts. He presented in front of SCOTUS for like 80 different decisions, like big stuff, big league stuff. The ability, if you have a guy that you want to be to be president of the United States, preferably you would want him to understand the Constitution. What better than a guy who was presented in front of the Supreme Court in matters regarding the Constitution 80 separate times? And I mean like preparing full legal briefs and doing full presentations. Like, this guy's got it. And my friend comments on he's like, man, I hate having lawyers. I hate having lawyers and in Congress, this is just too much, man. Can't we just elect the guy with a degree, with a BS degree in political science? I'm sitting here going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my. How is this? How can you be so blind? Like,
Look,
political
if it were
science is
a degree in like biology, I might take it. It's like, okay, because at least then we know he knows how to read. But political science
I know it's
doesn't
like,
necessarily guarantee a quality product.
now I'm gonna go a little into hyperbole here, but like political science, that's like mass corruption 101. A little bit. And he's like, yeah, let's get this guy. This, I found out, I actually looked this up. Bernie Sanders, because he's a congressman right now, he makes $174,000 per year. So for the past, I believe, decade plus, he's made over 100,000. Most of that time, he's made over 150,000. His net worth, get this, Josh, as of I think last year, $330,000. How? And to be clear, his charitable contributions were about $8,000. I checked this. Charitable contributions, $8,000. Paid, I think, $28,000 in federal taxes, another $5,000 to $10,000 in state taxes. So he was after giving away all the stuff that he was giving away or losing to taxes or whatever, he still had over $100,000 of income every single year, and somehow manages to have a total net worth of $330,000. How do you have that low net worth? I mean, okay, kudos for not engaging in insider trading like a lot of the idiot politicians and that, fair enough. But if you have a guy, okay, who makes $150,000+ a year for a decade, and he has only a $330,000 net worth, what I hear in my head is, man, this guy has no idea how to increase equity. He has no understanding of financials. He has no understanding of the market. He has no understanding of trading. He has no understanding of cap and trade. He has no understanding of proper money management. And it makes perfect sense because he's a socialist. Okay, this guy isn't walking the talk, I mean, he's there because he's that poor, not because he's being humble. He's that poor because he's that bad at managing money. I mean, what's this guy doing with his money? That's what I want to know. Like, that's the thing that maybe I'm wrong, but if some guy is sitting on $100,000 a year, you got to have a good reason why you're not putting at least, I don't know, 10% of that away, 20% of the way. Like, how do you not have at least some mutual funds or some stocks that are worth something, that at the end of your life you can say, hey, I actually have a nice amount of money built up that I can pass on to my children, or that I can just retire and just enjoy the rest of my life doing whatever I want. Instead, net worth $330,000 after a decade plus. And I mean, to be clear, he's been in the political sphere for a whole generation, for over 20 years. I'm just counting the time that he spent in Congress.
Ooh. The funny thing, one of the big draws that the Sanders crowd likes about it is that he's not your typical politician.
Yeah, he's more stupid than usual.
He's worse with his money than they are. Wow.
I mean, okay, he's not a manipulative bastard. I'll grant that. I mean, he's not as bad as Hillary. Let's grant him that.
Well, now, hey, that's like, well, he's not AIDS. At least we have that. Okay.
Look, because look, he's as economically illiterate. Except the worst part is that if he gets in office, he's going to like push harder than Hillary, because at least okay, let's put it this way: Hillary is a compass that spins in all directions. Bernie Sanders is a compass where north faces south and south faces north. Hillary is going to get in office and leave you pretty much where you left off, minus all the bullcrap that other nations pull. Fair? I mean, okay, the economy will kind of go like this, as opposed to Bernie Sanders, who's going to do all the wrong things and then make us go like this.
Now the real work begins.
Do you see the difference? This versus this.
Okay, now for you who aren't really trained in classical economics, this is bad. Okay.
Bad. Good. Bad. Good.
Okay, just. Bad. But we cover that. All right.
There will be a quiz on this later, children. You just pay attention and we'll have the quiz. By the way, I don't know why he's running now, because I don't think serious
I know
political
exactly
talk.
why he's running now. No one was stupid enough to try to seriously challenge Obama other than Hillary Clinton.
Right. Well, the thing is Hillary Clinton totally out of left field. Barack Obama came totally out of left field. Hillary Clinton, like, she had all of her big ticket donor people all lined up. She basically called in all her favors, like, now it's my turn. Okay. And all the rich people were like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, it's your turn. And then, like, the media was like, oh my God, who is this black guy?
Whoa.
He sounds really intelligent and doesn't have a Negro dialect. Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't the media. That was Harry Reid. Silly me, racist Harry Reid. And let's not forget. And let's not forget that former KKK member who was in office until he died from the racist Democrat Party. That's
And
I
he's
just love.
still voting for Democrats today.
Man, this voter card is unusually white compared to all the other ones. I wonder what that's all about. But Brent, it's kind of funny because on the Democrat platform you have you can't win anymore on the Democrats because now you have an old white guy or a rich white or an old rich person or woman who's Hillary Clinton. So like you
unless
can't
you go for Pocahontas.
She's not going to run for president. She already said that, but she's going to find her out now because I've heard this prediction and it's starting to look very plausible now. It's starting to look very plausible. Joe Biden with Elizabeth Warren as the VP. I know, right? I mean,
every conservative comic is like, all right, well, look, it'd be bad, but at least I'd be employed. So, okay, fine.
Right. But here's the problem. And I've thought about this because Joe Biden, to my knowledge, in the recent years, has just been kind of very under the radar, right? The vice president position doesn't require you to really succeed at very many things.
Which is why he was perfect for the job.
Well, yeah, it was one. But here's the thing: is all we have on Joe Biden right now, in terms of the popular awareness of the people, is that he makes a lot of gaffes, which is real great. But, and here's the big but: the media likes portraying a lot of conservatives as making gaffes and making mistakes as well. So we're on even ground with that. And so now we have good old Joe, good old huggable Joe, hugs, with a woman as the VP, which is super progressive. And
it's like the progressive McCain-Palin ticket.
And here's the thing. Elizabeth Warren can get and excite all the people who are already excited about Bernie Sanders. Forget all her crap about Pocahontas. It doesn't matter to the progressive crowd, right? And so what's going to happen is, and this is why I've actually been very, very moderate in my Hillary bashing, because I want her to get the Democratic nomination, because I know as soon as she gets it, we win. As long as we don't run Jeb, as long as we don't run him, we're fine. There's like him and a couple other people we need to not run, and we're good. Right, and we'll beat Clinton. But Joe Biden with Elizabeth Warren does present a real risk, and I could see them beating Donald Trump. I could see them beating I could see like at least a very, very close race between them and most people. I think the person who might have stand a very decent chance would be Ben Carson, because I actually know a few liberals who are kind of totally brainwashed who actually say, Ben Carson's like a really nice guy. I really, we're tired of the politicians. Ben Carson is a neuroscientist, a neurosurgeon, so he knows it. Like, he's very intelligent. He's very humble, which are all good qualities. But so he could win. Ted Cruz wouldn't win, I think. Rand Paul certainly wouldn't win. He just wouldn't. He couldn't. I was actually on Facebook again, and here's the thing: I don't actually spend that much time on Facebook. This is like from an hour of trolling on Facebook. I swear to God, I swear.
Someone was asking. I was only trolling.
I promise God. Someone was asking Rand Paul versus Carly Fiorina. Who would you vote for, Josh? Who would you prefer to see in office?
Do you even need to ask?
I'm still going to ask.
Okay. I hate to say it, but I actually like Fiorina, or however you pronounce it. I think she's pretty good. But honestly, I'm on a please not Rand Paul
Well, because this is what I said. Okay, this is what I said. Let me I actually have to look this up now because I said something very specific, and I think you'll agree. It's so stupid. I think you'll agree with me. I'm gonna be lame now, and I'm just gonna scroll through Facebook because that's what I don't do that normally. I don't normally. I'm a Twitter whore.
This is how we do our live streams. Like, oh, hold on, I need to check my Facebook.
Oh,
Someone
don't shame me. You're totally shaming me right now. You're totally shaming me. Okay, here we go. I said, okay, this is what I said. I would vote for Rand Paul, but only if he promises to take boxing lessons and learns how to bluff a bad poker hand. Decent?
Oh,
decent?
Okay, maybe.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. He has
Hanson on his cabinet. I'd feel more comfortable, but...
Well, I mean, because here's the thing. Rand Paul has no real spine. Like he can't actually be tough. He can stand up for himself, but he can't actually be tough. Trump can be tough. Trump can like be menacing. Rand Paul can't. So he needs to learn how to box, and he needs to learn how to fight. The second part is he needs to actually be able to learn how to read other people and make calculated moves. He needs to learn how to bluff a bad poker hand. He also needs to learn how to bluff a bad poker hand so that when he understands what position the U.S. actually has, he can act accordingly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's
because let's be honest, Rand Paul seems like the kind of guy you could steamroll in poker. He could not bluff worth his life, man. I know good bluffers. I've played BS with guys who will put down 7 cards and just give you like the deadest look, like just like you would know he's bluffing, but you would still be unsure because they're so good at bluffing. They're just
7 5s. I dare you to call me on it. I don't
no, seriously, be like 7 5s. What? You can go check. You can go check, and like the way they do it is so convincing. I'm like,
oh,
bullshit. Because it's that good. And that's what he needs. He needs to be able to do that. Ted Cruz, I wish he could. I would like to see him learn how to bluff properly too, but it's not as important with him because he can actually stand up and laugh in the face of other people.
Ted Cruz, I think he would do better if he didn't bluff. I think he excels when he does the opposite and said, no, this is actually what it is. And let me tell you why it's not.
I know. Well, see, okay, Ted Cruz, this is what I would love to see. Ted Cruz is him not to sound like a preacher every single day. Like there's a very slight like robotic sort of like always in politician mode thing that he's got going on, and it kind of like feels very disconnected. Like he sounds like he could be a preacher. Does that make sense?
Texas.
What's that?
He's from Texas.
That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse at all. It isn't. Because Ted Cruz, because he is an intelligent guy. He is brilliant. Like he is smarter than like almost any other person in the room, in almost any room. I think the only time he could be outwitted is maybe if he walked into Mensa. And I'm pretty sure I remember him. Is Ted Cruz in Mensa? Now I'm going to be a lame ass and go check this. Ted Cruz, Mensa.
I don't know. Maybe going up against Hanson or Thomas Sowell. But, I mean, come on. He is only human after all.
By the way, like to qualify to be in the Mensa Society, you have to have like an IQ of 140.
Which wouldn't be so bad, I think.
I think he might be. I can't find confirmation.
I don't even know my IQ. Though. I deliberately never looked it up because I don't.
IQ is a very kind of iffy thing. Like IQ it matters, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I know
like my SAT scores. I deliberately told my advisor I never want to know how I scored on them.
You don't? Seriously? Oh, dude, when I found out what my SAT scores are, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit of an asshole and I could have found out. I was like, let me see your SAT scores. Oh, it was only 30 points below mine. Oh.
I still don't know. It's funny because some folks in college, they asked for the information, and so I had friends look it up, and they would look at it. It's like, oh, those were your scores. And they wouldn't react at all.
That must mean that, well, that means that they can't tease you about it, which means that you probably did fairly well. Or right in like the middle.
I have no idea, and I don't care, much like IQ. But it is kind of fun listening to people say, oh, you dumb Republicans, because while you're libertarian, I have to put up with the you dumb Republicans.
Oh yeah, no,
because Jeb Bush
I've had
still
to,
exists.
I've had to defend. No, I've had to defend against people calling Ted Cruz dumb. I'm sitting here like, are you kidding me? Ted Cruz could run circles around you in any topic on almost anything, bud. And he's sitting there going, "No, Ted Cruz is dumb." I'm like, no, he's not dumb.
Listen, kid. The last time you tried to back a smart candidate, you backed Obama. Okay,
That's right.
You do not have a good judge of intelligence.
They backed a guy who had a whole bunch of like young kids like singing a cult version of a song about him.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's as far at that point. Like the funny thing is, I totally forgot this. At some point, at one point, like there were people legitimately saying like there are some serious comparisons between Obama and Hitler that's going on. That's like at a scary level. Not even like people who are racist against him, just people like regular people going like, oh my God, this is like, a little freaky here.
Except for Chris Matthews.
Yeah, well, at least it turns out that the sad part is Hitler was a little bit more charismatic than Obama was. That's the real sad part.
No.
And as someone did point out, a comedian pointed this out, and I can't believe I didn't realize this. Think about this, man. Just consider this, okay? Hitler had a girlfriend and then a wife for like 10 to 15 years. So like some girl like saw Hitler in a bar and was like, "Hey, you see that guy part down the middle in the handlebar mustache? That guy's mine. Ladies, don't touch him. He's mine." And then married him for a decade and stood by him while like he massacred 6 million plus people, and then plus all the black people and all the gypsies and all that. Like,
honey, do you want to see what I'm doing at the office today?
Oh, yes. Man, like Hitler must have been real good at like picking out a like a really appropriate bouquet, or he must have been like a stellar lover. Like maybe it turns out that the reason why he stayed with Hitler so long is he had like a 9-inch dick. We don't know. We don't know. But like someone stayed with Hitler for 15 years.
Let's just say I don't think Obama's going to have that problem after he leaves office. Sorry.
Are you sure? But look, here's the thing. Are you sure that it won't turn out that Michelle is the Hitler of black people?
Triggered!
I'm just saying, like, Obama sounds like that like 10-year, 15-year spouse that just sits there and watches his wife massacre like millions of people.
Millions and millions of school lunches.
That's right. That's tyranny is tyranny, dang it. And we're gonna resist it wherever it is. This is way off topic. We're gonna cut to a commercial now. Hi, have you been used to being accepted, loved, even appreciated by your neighbors and friends? Well, if you're tired of that, try on douchebag glasses. Just take any pair of sunglasses and wear them indoors. Trust me, they're great. And also, you can pretend to sympathize with all people who are blind, because in some cases, you may actually be blind wearing sunglasses indoors. Sold only for $89.89 at select stores. Never.
And we're good.
And we're
got it out of your system?
Well, because we already covered. Well, because we convened this podcast, this YouTube broadcast, for the purpose of talking about why the Pope just sucks as a person sometimes. Why the Pope can be a living embodiment of the fact that sometimes people are just fallible, and you need to just not listen to them ever on anything regarding the economy, and how that also applies to Bernie Sanders, who is a terrible, terrible person when it comes to financial management.
And Barack Obama.
And
Elizabeth Warren.
And Joe Biden, who creepily hugs a lot of women. No, here's the interesting thing, though. I see these memes, but I don't think he may not be as creepy as he is made out to be, quite honestly.
I buy that. I mean,
Right. But see, here's the problem. If he turns out to not be as creepy as he's made to seem to be, that means that conservatives have almost nothing over him, except for the fact that he's a lifelong politician who's really rich and does absolutely nothing except having been made famous on the curtails of a black guy. Which puts him exactly the same level as Hillary Clinton,
and calling
except
Thomas
that
Sowell a racist.
it puts him at the exact same level as Hillary Clinton, except that Joe Biden has Elizabeth Warren, who is not nearly as repulsive as Hillary Clinton, and he'll take up Bernie Sanders voters.
That is so sad when it's gotten to the point like, well, you're nothing special, but you're less repulsive than Hillary.
You know what? I just realized, actually, I just realized is a little bit sad. I just realized that the totalitarian way in which the Democratic Party manages its Democratic frontrunners may actually be somewhat superior to the laissez-faire, everyone shits on everybody method currently endorsed by the Republican Party.
I wouldn't exactly call it laissez-faire, though.
It's more laissez-faire, though. You know what I mean. We get this.
Until they get a decent moderator, I don't have to accept anything.
All right. You know what we're going to do? We're going to cut out for now because it's getting late. We're casting this at 2 a.m. But, Josh, did you have any final parting comments?
Well, this all started to ask, why does the Pope suck? And I think I have an answer.
Wait, I got this. The Pope doesn't suck. The Ultra Boys do. They also blow.
Oh.
This has been the Conservative Echo Chamber.
Oh, I think I
not
need
a
that
Catholic.
cancer joke card now.
And then Joe Biden gives them all a reassuring hug.
Triggered!